If they hurt you, why do you still miss them? Why does your chest tighten when you see their name? Why do you still replay the good memories? Why do you sometimes want to go back even though you know what happened?
That's the part that people don't say out loud enough because it feels embarrassing. If you're still missing someone who destabilized you, this episode's for you.
You're going to understand why that pull exists and why it doesn't mean that it was not abuse.
Welcome back to the Touch My Health podcast.
Last episode, we talked about why your body can crash after leaving. Today, we're talking about something even more confusing. Why you still feel attached.
This isn't about weakness, it's about wiring. What keeps you still feeling connected and why your mind and body are fighting each other. Something I've always thought about is, since I miss them, does that mean it wasn't abuse?
This is usually the first thought. If I still miss them, then maybe it wasn't that bad.
Or maybe that, I just overreacted.
Right. And I don't think that's the case. Attachment doesn't cancel out the harm that was done. You're still going to have those feelings of missing them and questioning yourself because oftentimes abusive relationships have a tumultuous dynamic. It often involves a lot of intense highs. And, they make those highs so high so that way that's really all you reflect and think about.
That you're going to chase.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, after you have conflict, that's who normally gives you the relief. You have conflict with them and then the relief that they give you after the conflict. There's different types of affection styles where they may be like the love bombing, right? Really, really all about you in the beginning. I mean, just doting on you, doing all the things. And then it starts to just taper off slowly.
Right.
Sometimes more abruptly, but, and then
they feed you those apologies every now and again.
The little breadcrumbs.
Yep.
Follow the little Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and
Gretel. I don't know why I just blanked in my head, but there's just a lot of different dynamics that are present in abusive relationships, and that can make it feel like, I still miss them. So I mean, was it really that bad? And that's what they want. They want you to second guess yourself.
100%. That's where the confusion comes in, and when you start questioning yourself, you're relying on what they think about you rather than what you think about you.
Yeah, or you think about the situation. Yeah, and like I mentioned, the relief that you would normally get from them after arguments or, heated fights and stuff like that, your brain bonded to that relief. I mean, and that's part of trauma cycles too.
100%. It's not the chaos. It's the intermittent affection. So when affection comes unpredictably, it creates a stronger attachment than consistency.
Yeah.
When that love is inconsistent, it's more addictive than that stable love.
It's like a slot machine, Okay. You don't pull the lever because you always win. You pull it because you might. That unpredictability wires attachment. And our minds, I read somewhere, we actually get more attached to the inconsistent than we do to the consistent. Like we will think about it more. We will, reflect on it more. The inconsistency versus the consistent behavior. And that's why we run back all the good moments. All the, even if they're so few and far between, we're going to pull those back into our mind and think about those instead of, I left because of all these other things that they did.
Yeah.
But your brain's like, let's not think about those right now. Let's think about that one time that he, bought me flowers. I had a girlfriend in, like a friend. That was a girl, not a girlfriend. But how to specify that nowadays, we were childhood friends, grew up, but she dated this guy and he treated her like crap. He really did. And I remember her saying, when I ask him to get up and get me some water, he does. And I was like, really? That's your
it.
anchor? Because when you ask him to get you some water, he does. Like, that's the kind of justification that sometimes we put into these abusive and unhealthy relationships because we are just clinging to those tiny little moments.
Yep. And I always played the what if game.
Right.
What if she'll change? Did you ever play that?
Oh, I still do with everything. What if?
What if they can change? It's you're playing the what if roulette game. What if they can change? What if he was just in a rut for a while and now they realize that, they're missing someone good? This is common. It's super common. And I know for me, I thought this way when my marriage ended the first time and we split for a year. I played the what if game a lot. I thought things would change for the better after we went to couples therapy for over a year. But unfortunately, that, isn't always the case. Therapy does help, but in my case, it didn't help. The couples therapy didn't help better our relationship.
Any type of therapy, when you go with another person, couples therapy, whether it be also some other type of relationship, it can only work when both individuals are committed to making it work. If only one person is committed to making it work and really wants to give it an effort and really wants to try, it's doomed from the start pretty much because you can only do so much.
Yeah, 50. You can only do 50%. Yeah.
Well, and relationships are not always 50-50.
They're not.
Sometimes they're 80-20. Sometimes they're 70-30. Sometimes they are, I have nothing. I need you to carry me because I have zero battery. And I
know that's the case for us sometimes where, at the end of the day we come home and I'm dead or vice versa, you're dead. And, that's the give and the take of relationships.
Yeah. I went through marriage counseling. My first husband and I, we did it, I think it was a couple of times. And it was a little tricky because I felt like sometimes he would give the better version of himself in therapy.
Sure.
And it wasn't always like that,
Yeah.
So I didn't always think he was being 100% honest, or he was trying to be like, well, yeah, I'll do all the things or this or that. And obviously it didn't work. I mean, I'm not perfect either. I'm not saying like that's why our marriage ended.
But two times going to couples therapy is really nothing. You're not really going to have
No, I meant like on two different occasions.
Great breakthrough. That's what I mean. You're not going to have great breakthrough in 2 sessions. You have to have that consistent, I don't know, probably at least 6 months, I would say, of consistency.
Well, depending on the situation, why you're there in the first place.
Right.
And everyone heals in different times, so it could be shorter, could be longer. I mean, what hurts someone may not hurt someone else.
Another question is, why do I feel pulled back when they reach out? Why are my emotions so high when they text me?
This is where a lot of people will start to feel ashamed. There's a lot of shame that comes with that feeling. You tell yourself, you're done. I'm done,
Yeah.
And then they text. And suddenly your body's like,
Ruh-roh.
your heart rate's increasing, your adrenaline spiking. The hope starts reactivating in your mind, and the memory highlights,
all those
the highlight
moments,
reel comes back. It's normal. It is very normal, especially if you were in a long-term relationship with said person.
Right.
Your nervous system doesn't differentiate between healthy and familiar.
Yeah, it just recognizes the pattern.
All right, this is for you, the viewer. Let me ask you something. Do you feel calm for days and then one message throws you off? Do you start romanticizing the good memories after they contact you?
Have you ever felt relief when they've been kind, even if it's temporary? That's not weakness, that's conditioning. Familiar chaos can feel safer than unfamiliar peace.
Yeah, what you know is easier to understand versus the unknown. I don't know what's going to happen. I think there's that FOMO too. Fear of missing out. Like, what if I let them go and then they actually change, and then they get better for somebody else? Even if they do, and that happens, be happy for them, good for them, because it wasn't going to happen with you more than likely, especially if
I agree.
You've
sometimes
been in a relationship forever, and they know that they can treat you a certain way, and you're going to come back.
Yes.
And why would they not?
And sometimes two people just are not good for each other. And I think that's where you have to really see that this person is toxic for me.
Yeah.
They may not be toxic for the next person, but for me, they're toxic.
Yeah, we are oil and water. We're not meshing well. And I remember my ex-mother-in-law from my second marriage told me something in the beginning of my relationship with my ex-husband, second ex-husband.
Yeah.
She said, if you let him walk all over you, he will. You have to stand up for yourself, because if you let him walk all over you, he will.
You didn't listen,
You need to put your foot down.
You didn't listen.
I didn't listen. I thought I did, but then as time went on, I was like, yeah, I didn't listen. But I mean, she knew, but, and I just don't think, like you said, I wasn't the right person for him.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Right.
There's somebody else out there that's much better suited for his type.
Yeah, we'll say. And that's how I felt about my first wife. Is I felt that same way when I saw her interacting after we split up. I saw her interacting with her then boyfriend, and I was like, you two are so much better for each other than I was. I mean, and sometimes that's okay. It's healthy. You should want that for yourself and want that for them. That's all. Is it bad, or is it a sign of weakness if I went back to that relationship?
No. I don't think it's a sign of weakness.
It's possibly a sign that the bond hasn't dissolved yet.
100%, I would say that.
With the trauma bonds, intensity bonds faster than stability. Your fear and relief creates a deep wiring, and the brain associates them with regulation.
Yes, and I read somewhere, I told you this the other day, that it takes someone who's in an abusive relationship, it takes the average person 7 times before they finally leave that relationship.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and so oftentimes people go back, and it's not a sign of weakness. It is just a sign, like you said, that trauma bond, that bond is still there. It hasn't dissolved. It hasn't faded. It doesn't go away overnight either. Sometimes the person who hurt you was also the person who soothed you. That's where that relief comes from. And that creates a lot of confusion and chaos in your mind and in your body.
Oh, yeah. You weren't addicted to them. You were attached to that hope cycle. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's deeper than that.
There are people, and I see this a lot, who identify as fixers.
They see potential, and this is where the confusion begins. You begin loving them for who they can be, not who they are.
You believe if you love hard enough, show up consistently, stay patient enough, you can change them. So leaving doesn't just feel like ending a relationship, it feels like abandoning a project.
Oh, it's so powerful. It's like quitting before the breakthrough. And that belief doesn't come from nowhere. It can come from childhood, learning that love meant working for stability. It can come from needing to earn the affection, or from believing your value is in how much you can endure.
Yeah, I feel like I was a fixer for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was because of the transformation that I saw in my dad. Like when I was, I think it was like before 8th grade. So I don't know how old 8th grade is. 13?
12, 13, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, my dad was not, I'm not going to make it sound like he was a terrible person. He wasn't. But he was not the best, probably husband, I would say. My parents fought a lot. Like, I would wake up in the middle of the night and they would be screaming at each other.
That's rough.
And then we went away for a weekend, me, my mom, my sister. We went up to Pennsylvania to visit my grandma and family up there. My dad stayed behind in Virginia, where I grew up. And when we came back from Pennsylvania that weekend, he was a completely different person. He, gave his life to Jesus, and he was a different man. And I know people say that and then they like roll their eyes sometimes at it, but he really did change. Like, he quit drinking. He, was just a different husband. He was a different dad. He was just a different man. And so it made me have a lot of hope that people can change. Even, these losers that I was dating or, whatever. I just found myself always trying to stay in a relationship that was not good because I had hope that, well, if my dad can change, anyone can change,
Yep.
Or just I could, wait and fix someone, But we also romanticize about it too. Like with movies and books and things like that are out.
Right.
The 50 Shades of Grey movie where you got the 28-year-old billionaire who's moody and hot and wealthy and, he's only going to change for that one person. Like, if you can understand that movies and books are not real and that's not real life and don't fall into the fantasy, fine. But I feel like sometimes, especially as women, we romanticize that, fantasize that, and then we get in these situations in relationships we shouldn't be in, and they're abusive and they're toxic, but we stay because we want to end up being the exception to the rule. And that's just not how it works a lot. The rule is the rule. The exceptions are few and far between.
Yeah. I think you were given a really good example of what change can look like. Mm-hmm. And that's unicorn, right?
Right.
And,
well, yeah, we've all seen it, read it, watched it.
Yeah, I read the 50 Shades book.
Yeah. Cold, distant, there's a cold, distant, emotionally unavailable man, and then the right woman comes along and changes him, and he softens up, he opens up. He chooses her.
And then somewhere along the way, that story became aspirational, like turning the bad boy into the good one, or the woman that's a mess, turning her into a housewife.
Can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
And subconsciously, you start looking for that dynamic. That becomes all you date. You date the same person, just with a different face.
Yeah. Or if you're in a relationship, you could even start looking at that relationship and being like, well, he or she doesn't do this, or they don't do that, or waiting for them to act a certain way that's not even, it's a fairy tale.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
But it's not because you want that chaos. You want them to be the exception, like you said.
Yeah, or you yourself want to be the exception.
Yeah, the one who finally got through, the one who finally got that breakthrough and the change that they were hoping for.
Right, but healing someone who doesn't want to change isn't love. It's self-abandonment. So when you miss them, sometimes you're not just missing the person, you're missing the hope. You're missing the version of them you believed you could unlock or change. And that's, incredibly hard to let go of.
Oh, it certainly is. And when you are only remembering the good parts, what makes me only remember the good parts?
Why do I only remember the good parts?
Yeah. It's tricky, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and as distance grows, memories kind of soften. The brain will prioritize bonding memories.
Pain, that pain will dull over time as nostalgia edits reality. Mm-hmm. You really, like you said, soften over time. You forget because time heals all wounds, is what they say, right? Like
they say that. I don't believe it. I mean, time does help for sure. Time definitely helps, but it doesn't heal all wounds. Healing all wounds takes work on your part. You can't just live in Fantasyland or just in self-loathing and depression or,
right.
Self-abandonment. You can't live in that forever. So it's more than just time heals all wounds. And also remember, if it was so good, you wouldn't have left. You left for a reason.
So true. It's why I say, and I said it last episode, remember why you left. This kept me from going back a third time to a toxic relationship. You left for the bad times that made you question yourself and made you question who you are. It made you feel like you were losing yourself. I can remember all the times that I was walking on eggshells and upset nights and, crying yourself to sleep, or in my case, ruminating angrily.
I was going to say, I can't see you. I can't picture you walking on eggshells or crying yourself to sleep, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I different times.
Now, I have.
Different times.
For sure.
Yeah. But you have to remember those. Get your mind and body on the same page.
Your body remembers what your mind tries to romanticize. Sometimes the reason you bonded so deeply goes back further than this relationship. We're going to talk about that in our next episode. If you're in this phase right now, here are a few things that can help break the cycle. First thing?
Yeah, the first thing is limiting contact, even emotional monitoring. You have to go no contact. If no contact isn't an option, limit your contact.
As much as possible, limit, and that includes that secondhand contact that we talked about last time where people...
Talking through friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see something? Nope, I don't even want to hear it. I have to monitor my emotions. I have to regulate myself, limit contact.
Yeah. And write down the full story, not just the highlights.
I used to write down things all the time because I wanted to, my reality was being questioned a lot, and so I wanted to have that written down to validate myself. But write down the full story. Write down everything. Write down the bad parts, write down the good parts, but write down the full story. Yep.
And the third one is interrupt fantasy with facts.
Yes.
Remember what the facts are. Don't create some fantasy world
of what you want.
And what actually happened.
Yeah.
And number 4, give your nervous system new, safe experiences.
Yeah. Go try something. I'd say try something new, but if there's something you used to love doing and you kind of stop doing it, get back to it. Mm-hmm. I used to love cooking. And I mean, I've gotten back to that definitely now, but my last relationship, that was something that I didn't do a lot because they didn't want me to really, I don't think, but it was something I enjoyed doing. So yeah, get your nervous system new, safe experiences or back to what you loved doing before someone maybe stole that joy from you.
I love that. Attachment fades with consistency. not willpower. If you still miss them, that doesn't mean you should go back. It just means that your body hasn't recalibrated yet.
Missing someone is human. Returning to harm is a choice. And clarity makes that choice easier.
If this helped you understand what you've been feeling, subscribe and stay with us. We're building conversations around the parts most people don't want to explain.
And if you're struggling with that pull right now, leave a comment. You're not alone in it. We're also on TikTok and Instagram. You can go head over and follow us there. They're linked in our description below.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.